You're listening to BT IndieCast Episode 4. Today in TubeFi Studios, we have Jason Goble, Floyd County native, singer-songwriter, and ambassador for the music scene in our area. Stick around and we will dig into what Jason is all about. Hey everybody, it's episode 4 BT IndieCast. I'm in the studio today with Jason Goble.
Hello, how we doing? Hello.
How you doing, Jason?
How's it going?
I'm doing good. Glad you could make it down here.
No, I appreciate you having me, man.
Yeah, very cool. Well, when we started doing the show, we made a short list, and right off the bat, I was like, well, I got to have Jason, because you're what we call the hardest working man in the showbiz in the area.
No pressure now, right? No pressure.
But yeah, Floyd County native, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And we want to today. We'll just talk about, because the thing that you do, you're like a ambassador really for singer-songwriters in the area. You've got the songwriter series or
the songwriter scene, Prestonsburg songwriter scene. We do it every Tuesday night in a different location in Prestonsburg and at a different restaurant or bar, and so it's kind of a little different show every week on Tuesday nights.
Right.
Yeah.
And is that part of like tourism or?
We're sponsored by Prestonsburg City Tourism.
That's awesome. I mean, you know, to have a good idea and to have somebody back you, I mean, that's...
Oh, it makes a huge difference. So we came up with the idea. It was Fred James was still the tourism director down there, and he was looking for a way to put music through the week in some of these places. Because it goes on the weekends all the time.
Right.
But you get a lot of folks traveling through business through the week, and so that's kind of where it came from.
That's awesome. So you go... I mean, I see the post. It's... is it just every Tuesday? I felt like it was...
It's
Thursdays
every Tuesday, but we have done some special events, some Thursdays. Like we did one Thursday a year or two ago at the Gearhart Auditorium, and we're talking about right now doing a special one over at the Science Center in the planetarium.
That will be cool.
Under the lasers and all that sort of thing.
Oh yeah. That's a cool place. That's an unused place. I mean, it's super cool. That's cool. So the writers scene, the writers night, is it just open for them? I mean, you kind of take care of it and you let people show up and sing?
We kind of run it, so what it is it's like an open mic, but it has to be original songs written or co-written.
That was my first question.
Now what we do is, like, of course, some folks will only have 2 or 3 originals. Some people will have a whole library of them. Right. So we usually do a first round through of just original music. That's it. And then at the end of the night, once we come through, if we've got a little extra time, we might do straight up open mic or a jam.
Right. Yeah. Depending on the vibe of the crowd. You got to read the room, right?
Yeah, so it's different every single night and every single venue with different performers. So yeah.
Is it odd? And I'm asking the obvious questions here, but is it odd playing sometimes in a restaurant? With the waitresses walking by and people ordering.
It's different. It is a little different atmosphere, but I think it's kind of good for a lot of the folks too. Like, I'm lucky enough to gig a lot, but a lot of the folks that come out play maybe don't get to perform.
It's their time, right? It's their gig for the month.
They get that taste of kind of what it's like playing in these places.
And it's good that you're there to moderate and so things don't get out of hand. I'm sure if you just, literally someone shows up and says, I've got a song, you let them sing?
Yeah. We put them in.
That's a recipe of awesome right there.
You never know we've had one night over at the lodge. We had this gentleman sit there and watch us about the whole night. At the end of the night, I walked up and spoke to him, and he was a coal miner. I asked him if he played, and he played a song about coal mining. It was fantastic.
Well, so that's the other side. I'm sure there's. There's
you get good, you get a little bit of everything. Right.
That's awesome.
It's always an interesting experience.
But there is those moments where you're like totally shocked, right? And you're like,
absolutely.
Where's this guy been, or where's this gal been?
You get somebody that comes in off the street and does something that you just totally don't expect.
That's cool.
Those are great nights.
How long have you been doing that?
We're going on, maybe 2.5 years, I guess now, something like that.
Well, it's really cool. I've popped in on a few of them over the years. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm super busy doing a lot of the things, you know. But it's good that you're doing it, and you do that, but on your own, you're gigging on the weekends and doing things. I've seen that you've been down here in Pikeville at with Kim at the Peking.
Yes.
By the way, I was there at the sushi place, and they had rave reviews about you.
Oh, well, thank you.
They
That's
loved
awesome.
you. Yeah. I'm actually getting ready to work on a whole sound system, so you don't have to carry your system in. They were like, we want it so Jason can just walk in and do his thing. So.
Oh yeah, that's a unique little gig over there,
Yeah.
you know, and it's unlike anything I've ever played, but it's really nice. It's such a laid back atmosphere in there.
Well, they really love it, and she said the crowd loves it. And to be honest, I'm gonna tell the truth here. When she talked to me, she asked me, did I think it would work? And I said, I don't know. At a sushi bar / buffet, I said, I don't know if this crowd wants to hear music. And I said, try it out. And I gave her your name and Johnny Day's name.
Yeah.
And I said, try these two guys. They can appeal to the masses, with their. Good Lord, you probably have, I don't know, over 100 songs that you can just pull from, I'm sure, at any moment.
Yeah, it's been interesting. It's about a 6-hour gig over there. So
oh, really?
It's on 30 off 20 from 4 to 10, but I still end up playing over 40-minute sets, things like that.
Yeah, for people that don't know that, well, I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory, but on 40... on 30 off 10, is that what you said? Over
there, it's on 30 off 20, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Most places, your 45-15 is your typical. Yeah.
Exactly. So you play, so if you work it right, a 4-hour show, you're on the stage for 3 hours kind of scenario.
Absolutely.
That kind of thing. But like you said, and if the crowd's there, you just play.
Keep playing.
You just if they're loving it, Well, that's really cool. So not only are you doing that and working with tourism, but you have your own thing, and you had a new album come out. How recently? It's fairly recently.
It was last year, actually.
Yeah.
Now we're coming.
Has it been a year?
It's getting close. It's amazing, and it flies by.
Yeah. Well, it was really. I got to play on it some. Mm-hmm. It was a great experience. You recorded it down at the Mountain Arts Center.
Yes.
And who played on the album eventually?
Other than yourself on keys, Jason Lane played bass, Rennie Hall played drums, Jeremy Dempsey played mandolin.
Jeremy, great guy.
Oh yeah, he did a lot of harmony too, and of course I did the guitar stuff. And I'm trying to think. I think there's drums, bass, keys. Yeah, I think that's everybody.
Any background vocals or anything?
Jason Lane and Jeremy Dempsey both did those.
Oh yeah. Well, that's cool. Jeremy's a great guy, awesome songwriter.
Oh yeah, we've co-written a few tunes together over the years. We were in a band together at one point.
Yeah. He's got that great storytelling voice too, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
He is actually going to be playing at the Hillbilly Days Festival. So
he's a fantastic performer and songwriter.
Jeremy and I go probably 8 months and never speak, and then I get the random text, "Hey man, I hear you're doing this. Any way I could play a song or two?"
That's Jeremy,
and I always welcome it.
He's a funny guy too.
Yeah, that's good. That's pretty cool. Joe Campbell with the Mountain Arts Center talked. We brought you up last episode about you guys getting to play doing the Open Up for the Kiss thing.
Yes.
And how great that was. And
it was a great experience.
And isn't it awesome that we live in a time now that local bands can get into these arenas or these theaters and stuff.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And there's nothing like playing in those places.
Right. And you got that home team advantage for one. But like Joe and Clayton are actually opening the doors for people like us to come and play and to get on that bigger stage.
Oh yeah, that gig to play. We went to a lot of 70s rock stuff, and to get to play on a stage like that, to play music of that type and have that full rock sound that a theater provides that you don't get in a club is really nice.
Yeah, it was really cool. I heard nothing again but rave reviews about your guys'
set.
Thank you. And doing the Thin Lizzy stuff. Yep. I mean, that was the endear to my heart. I mean, as soon as I saw the videos on Facebook, I was like, yes, this is cool. You didn't just pull out the standards,
No, we found some challenging stuff. We wanted to push ourselves a little bit.
So are those guys that play with you, are they if you're doing a full band, are they the guys that you're using?
It kind of usually depends on the gig as to who I'm playing with, but those guys I play with a lot now, particularly Jeremy Justice and Jay Justice, bass and drums.
Yes,
those are the
brothers.
Being brothers, they're kind of sharing a wavelength anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, and then of course that night we also had Charlie Cable was the other guitar player.
Charlie's great.
And Drew Stumbo played keys. Drew, of course, the junior pro.
Junior pro,
there.
yeah.
And so I think those guys are going to be back with me at Hillbilly Days.
That's a good segue, because I was going to say you're going to be performing at the Hillbilly Days Festival. Yes. The second largest, it changes, but I think it's the second largest festival in Kentucky.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's great.
Yeah, hundreds of thousands of people. And you're playing on Friday.
Yes, Friday at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, 6 o'clock. There is really no bad time for Hillbilly Days, because there's just people everywhere.
Yes.
And so full band, Hillbilly Days, good PA, just going to be rocking in. Am I going to get to hear some Thin Lizzy?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt.
Well, that's super good. So you're a rock guitar. I mean, you play acoustic. That's your bread and butter. But I mean, right. You're a rock guy. You can grab the electric and just.
I like a lot of different things. When I was in high school, I played mostly. It was actually more like alternative rock kind of stuff. And then I got out of high school and kind of retreated more to the acoustic thing for a while. Now I kind of get to do a little bit of both. I don't get to do as much of the electric thing. Right. I'll really enjoy it when I get to. But the acoustic's kind of always in my hands now.
That's cool. Yeah, so you got to play. You really went electric on the album, right?
Oh, absolutely.
What did you in the studio? What was your rig?
I have an American Strat and it's actually one of those 50s road worn tellies.
Yeah.
And the amplifier was a Vox AC-15 with an Alnico blue speaker in it. And as far as pedals, it was pretty. I didn't use a ton of stuff. Of course, 808 overdrive. I'm trying to think. It was a Elephant Fuzz.
Yeah.
And one of the Space Echo delays, Boss Space Echo delays.
I mean, standard tone rig right there. I mean, that's some good stuff to get the sound. And the album come off great. Guitar tones were great. Solos. I mean, you can tell you were using the right stuff there. Because unfortunately, I know people that are good musicians but don't care about the tone side of it. And it doesn't matter how good you can do that Stevie Ray lick, if the tone is brittle and thin, it really just takes away from it, doesn't it?
I had to, when I was in high school, I said playing all that rock stuff and really not understanding tone back then. I look back at some of the stuff I used then and I go, my God,
Yes, I know.
But at some point, I kind of almost sold off every piece of gear I had, I was like, started over. I'm like, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And finally, just kind of figured it out piece by piece.
I know. I don't tell many people this, but back in the day, I had 2 Boss heavy metal pedals.
Oh, metal zones. I had a metal zone.
Yeah. And I had one louder than the other, and they were side by side, so I would hit them both at the same time for my boost, my lead. And I don't know what I was thinking. It's probably the only pedals I could afford. I don't know why I would say that I like that tone, but
you couldn't get good advice either. The advice people kept telling me was, turn your bass and your treble all the way up and cut your mid all the way out. And I kept doing that and going, why can't I hear myself?
Right. Well, what got me on the tone path, which I'm over the top now, maybe even a tone snob, I don't know. But I was at a friend's house, and I kid you not, this is pre-internet. I am up there. But anyway, I went to visit a friend, and I had just got done reading a Vintage Guitar magazine about Stevie Ray Vaughan's setup. All right, I love Stevie Ray Vaughan, but the thought of getting a tone hadn't hit me yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you said, this bell didn't go off.
You don't think about it, yeah.
So I go in his house, and in an ashtray, I kid you not, is a Tube Screamer, a TS9, with opened up, no battery, laying there with ashes all over it. And I go, that's Stevie Ray Vaughan's pedal, and I'm like, what are you doing with this? I need to buy this. And he went, oh, you won't like that. It sounds like an amp cranked up. There's no... I kid you not. And he went, you can have it. And that right there, no joke, he gave me an original TS9, and that set me on my path. And once I started playing that, I was like, wait a minute,
Oh, yeah.
It's funny, the adventures in your tone. And, I've learned this over the years, speaking of good tone. Like, even in bands, like when you play and your band plays, the general crowd sometimes doesn't know why they don't like it if the tone's not there.
That's right. If it's abrasive.
Yeah. They're like, and it turns the whole band off. So it's I mean, I would encourage a band to seek out the tone.
Absolutely. It makes a huge difference in your overall. And two, the great thing about tone, what I found out was once I started having good tone, I didn't have to have the volume necessarily that you think you have to have to sound good. You could, and so once I got playing with guys that all understood tone, first time I walked off stage and my ears didn't feel like they were going to bleed.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, that is good. That is good. Well, that's awesome. It's good to talk to someone about tone, and because it, like we've said, it's a vital part of the big picture.
It is.
There's a reason why songs sound a certain way, or people love them, and having a smoother tone, having that vintage tone draws people in. They don't know why, but
they can feel the difference.
Right.
Whether they know why.
Right. Exactly. Well, were you going to have merch at Hillbilly Days?
I will have. I'll have CDs and some shirts as well.
Very cool.
Shirts now. So.
If we were going to play, I think we're going to play a song on the way out of this episode. Which one would you think I need to play?
Interesting.
Yeah, isn't that good?
Oh wow, yeah. Let's see. Oh,
what do you want people to hear?
Because
there's a lot of stories in these songs.
There are. I'm gonna go with a different. I'm trying to think of a different one than I normally do.
Right.
Typically, the one lately, most people it's Music of Moonshine because it's about my grandfather. But I would say that I don't know, man. That's tough.
You want me to just pick?
Yeah, just pick one, man. Just randomly pick one. I know it's the first track on it. It's the one a lot of people know of mine, Spinning My Wheels. But that one, that's kind of when we were talking about the progress and changing tone. Yeah. That's kind of when I started changing the way I was songwriting. Because I feel the same way about it. You kind of, at a certain point, start to discover, like, more than just the 3-chord change and all that sort of thing. And so I'd say Spinning My Wheels was the one that I kind of went, okay, I'm going to do something different. Right. That was kind of the beginning of the evolution in my songwriting.
Very cool. So you say the one song was about your grandpa?
Yeah, Music of Moonshine. He was a fiddle player, and he was one-handed fiddle player, as strange as that sounds. He'd strap the fiddle bow with a leather strap right here that was affixed to the bow. And he lost it because moonshine and dynamite are a bad combination.
Okay.
And the song is about he spent time in the federal penitentiary for the manufacture of moonshine. He was arrested in 1961. And then when he got out, they used to say that if you got caught the second time, it was a year and a day, which was just kind of a folksy way of saying you didn't get parole if you got caught a second time.
Yeah.
So instead he went to bootlegging whiskey because it was a different penalty. So the song's about that, about his thing. But I grew up watching him play with one hand. So
that is amazing.
Yeah, I didn't have much excuse.
No. No. Yeah. So you grew up musical family, that kind of thing?
Yeah, he on that side, it's on my mother's side of the family, and he learned to play fiddle from his mother, my great grandmother. Right. It's just one of those. All of my great uncles played, all that kind of thing.
Me and my brother have a theory that this area has been so musical over the years because there's nothing else to do.
It is the truth. It's
the truth. If you got to, there's nothing to do.
On the porch,
right?
What are you going to do?
Right. So somebody's got a guitar, and
I think that what's happened too is a result of that because now you've got this unbelievable wealth of musicianship in this region. Is that it's almost taken for granted. People they don't realize that it's not like this other places. You go to other towns, you don't see players like this.
People don't realize the level of talent that's here too. Yes. But there's good and bad in that because it seems like I don't know with you, but in this area, it's a struggle to keep bands together, to keep people playing. What is up with that?
Oh man, I'm telling you,
I think there's so many. They're like, well, forget you. I'll go to Jimmy's.
It's just easy to switch bands. You can switch bands in the middle of the night. Right. Almost big gig. Yeah,
I know. So we've come a long way in this area, but we got a long way to go too. I guess
people are definitely starting to get the picture. I think of working together and how much stronger we are when we're all on the same side.
Right. Well, Jason, I appreciate you coming down for sure. I've had a blast, and super good times. And I look forward to hearing some Thin Lizzy at Hillbilly Days.
Oh, absolutely! Look forward to playing down there.
All right, very cool. Thanks, man.
Thanks.